create a rotating collectible. Program for Sonic code from scratch to make the collectible object rotate around its y-axis. Oh wait, I guess you wouldn't need to do that because it's not. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. So. Overview. In the last tutorial, you copy and paste the code into a new script, which is a great way to start. In this tutorial, you'll write your first line of code, make a collectible object rotate in the scene. These rotating collectible objects will be the things that your player character tries to gather throughout the living room scene. I see. When you're ready to get started, proceed to the next step. Ooh, looks pretty cool. Add a collectible game object in front of the player. The first step is adding a collectible item in front of the player. You probably want to select a collectible prefab that makes sense with the character you've chosen. The robot vacuum could suck up dirt, toy car could get little stars, wind-up mouse could find cheese, the alien could collect precious gemstones. There are also a bunch of other interesting collectibles to choose from, so feel free to get creative with your selection. Oh. In the parchment now we can use essentials prefabs collectibles, drag and drop the collectible prefab in the scene. Adjust the collectible's position, rotation, and scale in the scene view as needed to ensure that it's easily visible and reachable by the player. Position, rotation, scale. This will make testing as efficient as possible. You might want to adjust the position and rotation of the camera so that you can easily see the collectibles in front of the player in play mode. I think once I get past Unity Essentials and get onto the next one, pathway, the junior programmer one, is when I'll actually start to do the projects. Because I already completed. Yeah. Well, I haven't been doing them, but
says, are you finding these ones useful?
But I like these new ones. Like the thing is, like last year, I already completed Unity Essentials, but they updated it and added, like they switched out a lot of stuff and added new content and changed some of like the order that they're introducing stuff in, and I like this one. If I could choose, like only choose one to go through, I think this one is an improvement on the first one. But there's things that aren't like perfect about it, but it's I think it's overall an improvement. I think this version of the course would have been better. Like, have me going through this version would have been better than the other one I went through. The other one wasn't bad. This one's just better. That's it. Like the first Unity Essentials was good. This one's just better. Create and apply a new collectible script, and it also just gets you introduced to some of the most important things faster. Like you get started much faster with this one. It explains more of the important things you need to know without all the fluff. There was a lot of fluff in the old one. And like here too. What I was gonna say, oh my god, I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, they also like introduce you to quicker to some of like the things that would be intimidating for a beginner, like seeing some of the code and seeing like quaternions and stuff show up. Like instead of hiding that from you, they just kind of show it to you without expecting you to understand it, and I think that's really good to do that early on to let beginners know, like, it's okay, it's not the end of the world. Don't be afraid that it looks weird. I think that's a good thing. Because they handheld so much in the old one, but then also there were things that just like weren't explained well, and then you had to like look them up. So other than those, a lot of those things, um, with the actual like content they were talking about, they handheld a lot. So once they finally started introducing things, it was kind of, it felt like a big jump. Like they were kind of throwing you into stuff that you didn't feel comfortable with yet when it's such an important part, like scripts and whatnot. Like they tried to avoid showing you, they just like mentioned like this is a script exists in Unity, but they tried to avoid having you do anything at all related to scripts in Unity. Essentially, the old version, it was just about the editor. So yeah, in that sense, it was kind of didn't really prepare you as well to go into the next section, which was the junior programmer, where you actually are supposed to dive deeper into that. Collectible script. In this step, you'll create a new empty script. This script, which you'll name collectible, will govern the behavior of the collectible objects in the scene. In project window, navigate to the essential scripts folder you accessed in the previous tutorial. In the scripts folder, by click and select create C# script. With the script's name automatically highlighted, immediately rename this new script collectible. Just the last sentence. Spelling of the name is important because it becomes part of the script. Please understand the script name, see the code of the new script. Back script inspector window. If you make a typo in your script name or have to rename it for any reason, it'd be easier to just delete it and create a new one with the correct name and the hierarchy collectible game object. Drag and drop the collectible script you just created from the project window into an empty space with the inspector window. For the collectible game object, which is the space around the add component button. And they're even introducing on purpose. It's nice. I noticed they're doing it. They're introducing different ways to put scripts onto things. Drag it onto the object in the scene. Drag it onto the empty space in the hierarchy window. Or you can click on the add component and then search for the C# script. Well, they didn't say about that one yet, but I'm sure they will later on. I like that feature, that touch. Note that this is different from the technique used earlier to apply it. Now they're pointing it out, which is nice. Where you dragged it onto the object directly in the scene view. There are usually a few different ways to do the same things in Unity. Nice. They definitely didn't do this in the old version. They would just show you one way, and then you always did the same way. So it's nice they introduced stuff like that now. Okay, sometimes this happens where the video doesn't actually play. Okay, it's doing it again. There. It's cool. Review the structure of the default script. Before you start coding, take a minute to review the structure of the default script you just created. This might feel overwhelming at first, especially if you're new to programming. It's important to remember that understanding the nuances of scripting is a gradual process, and it's entirely normal to feel a bit daunted at this point. So don't worry about that, and trust that it will all slowly start to make sense over time. In the project window, I like this little warning at the beginning for people who are like overwhelmed by all the things they don't understand. Double-click the creatable script to open it in the script editor. And locate the using statements at the top of the script, including using Unity Engine. These lines link the script to the necessary library so that when you enter something like rigid body, the script knows what that means. And this part is all like so much nicer explained. It wasn't even introduced in Unity Essentials. It's the stuff that you started learning about in the junior programmer pathway, but it wasn't as explained in such like a beginner-friendly way. Beneath the using statements, locate the class declaration, public class collectible mono behavior. This defines a script as a public class named collectible that inherits from Unity's mono behavior class. Mono behavior is a required class for all game objects in Unity. This bit of code is what allows you to add your script as a component to a game object. Ooh. Don't worry if this is still confusing at this point. It will slowly make more and more sense as you continue on. Locate the start function. This function is executed once at the beginning of the game. Locate the update function. Unity runs this function once per frame. Games typically run at 30 to 60 frames per second, so any code within this function will be executed many times continuously throughout the game, making it suitable for ongoing actions and animations. This is where you'll put your rotation code so that the collectible will rotate continuously. Plan your rotation code. Before writing your first line of code, let's take a moment to understand what you're actually trying to do in your code. You'll experiment in the scene view to visualize this. Oh wait, I didn't watch the— oh wait, there's no video here. Okay, good. You'll experiment in the scene view to visualize it. Oh yeah, I just read that. Okay. Select the collectible object and frame it in the scene view so you have a good view of it. At the top of the frame, scene view, make sure you're using the local coordinate system instead of the global system so that you'll be able to see the orientation of the collectible changing as it rotates. Oh. Yeah, you can select global and local. Wait, now I'm just trying to think, like, wait, you wouldn't be able to see it change if it was set to global? Oh, I know what it's saying, like the arrows and would change. In the inspector window in the transform component, locate the rotation. I thought it was talking about the X, Y, Z things in the editor. My bad. Top of the scene, make sure you're using the local coordinate system. Okay. In inspector window in the transform component, locate the rotation coordinates. Click and drag the label Y right and left to change the y-axis rotation. Oh, okay, that's all you're gonna do for that. Wait, now I'm trying to think. When they were making the robot vacuum cleaner rotate, my were quaternions used anyway, because there's like a rotate thing in the transform. Maybe, or maybe they just didn't want to use that, and they were showing like you could do it with the position, and then I don't know, quaternions or whatever. We can drag the label Y right and left to change the y-axis rotation. Watch the demo video again very closely if you're still trying to do this. If you hold down the shift key while you click and drag the value will change more quick. I didn't know this. I'm copying and pasting this for the shift key. This is useful tip to go into my cheat sheet, because I'll forget about this. Observe how the object rotates. Oh wait, let me add another note to it. In the Unity editor. Observe how the object rotates in the scene view. This visual experiment helps you see the effect of rotation values on your object. This is the effect you want to achieve in your script. You want to increase the Y rotation value in the transform component continuously over time. In the next step, you'll add the code that rotates the collectible around the Y-axis continuously. Wait, does this number just like keep increasing, or like will it loop back to 0? I'm actually not sure. Oh, they'll probably just show it in this video. Okay, no, they didn't really show it well. That's why I'm gonna open up my Unity editor. And I'm gonna throw a cube out. Cube. Okay. Okay, my cube doesn't rotate at all. Why are you not rotating around the y-axis? Maybe I'll actually, okay, let's show my Unity. Yeah. Wait, what is this? Could not data mine. Oh, I've gotten this before, but then it just like went away by itself. When I played the, I don't know why that happens, what that error means, but it doesn't seem to be a problem. Yeah. Why is this not rotating? Oh, damn it! I made it go away. It said something can't be found.
Says what it say?
Unity editor GUI something can't be found. Something at the end bull something. Sorry. It'll show up again. It just every now and then it pops up. When I come back to my Unity editor, when I switch windows, it just shows up. I don't know what that is.
Says
Yeah. If it shows up again, I won't get rid of it. I won't clear it. I just cleared it because it was ugly. I know I didn't have to. It wouldn't have hurt it to keep it up, but I thought it was ugly. That's it. Oh yeah, but oh, I'm dumb. I wasn't, oh wait. Yeah, I'm dumb. I locked this. I'm rotating this, and not the cube. I keep forgetting when I lock the freaking inspector. I'm rotating the wrong object. My bad. Okay, well, where's my cube? Now I'll do the right one. Unlock you. And then... Okay. Oh, so you can just keep increasing it forever. And then it will just keep, rotating around. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if it would loop back at some point, once it reaches where it was again, if it would go back to like 0 or something. Yeah. But no. Oh. I need to send a message. Real quick. So I need to plug my phone in. Where is it? My charger. How do I keep losing things that are honestly just right next to me? That have been, oh, there it is. What has happened? I think one thing also that would be like super fun in the future is if I get to like dabble in lots of in other skills and stuff like 3D modeling or art or whatever or music composition and making sound effects and editing audio and all that stuff. Then it'll when I get to meet new people who are like, because everyone's basically smarter than me. When I get to meet new people who are smarter, then at least I'll have maybe something I can share with them too. So it's not just me. You get the benefit. Since, a lot of people who are really good at what they do tend to specialize in like one area. Okay, so add your first line of code to rotate the collectible.
Orkama says, I think the smaller the team, the more likely that is you get to touch a bunch of stuff.
So especially if you're like a one-person team, then you do all the things, touch all the things. Part of every part of the game's development. Another thing I've always thought would be like so fun about like being part of like, or just the whole like game development pipeline. The part where you get to have people play test your game. Is that part fun? I think that would be the most fun part. Like get feedback on it and then people tell you, I don't like this or this part could be better, and then you get to go back and then you get to polish it and actually make it really good. That part sounds so fun. Like, how is the balance of the game? Is it too hard? Is it too easy? Does it feel good? Honestly, from all my time of like, particularly like playing mobile games, sometimes I just felt when I would play games, I would feel like, do the developers even play their game? Like, do they play enough of their own game? Sometimes I would feel like that. All I know is that I'm gonna play whatever I make. I'm gonna play it a lot. Like I feel like it's a requirement to like play your own stuff. Is it fun? Programmers search for. Okay, I see.
Orkama says usually what a designer is interested in for balance, or programmer to find bugs.
Let me see. So you really could. Somebody could actually be like a game designer and like not do any programming at all, but still be the designer of the game, and you get paid for that. Is that even a thing? Because to me, that just sounds crazy. Like all you do is like think about the idea of it. What is that? Because like ideas, I don't know. I've always thought
Orkama
for me,
says, yeah, 100%.
like ideas come cheap, but the skills to implement those ideas and make them happen, which is what the programmer would do, those are like gold. Those are like like the rare delicacy when you go to a fancy restaurant and the food is like super small and super freaking expensive.
Orkama says it involves a lot of Google Sheets in my experience, and tuning against data you collect about your users and how they play.
So it's a lot more than just coming up with an idea, but it's also about testing it thoroughly and getting all the feedback, and that's what you're spending your time doing. Like that research, I see. So it is work still, but just a different kind of work. Data-driven art. Data.
Orkama says, yeah, it's a data-driven art.
So in that okay, I see. So it can't just be like, oh, people say it's fun, so the game is fun. No, you need data to show it. Like, where's the data? You can't just say it's fun. That's what they do. Okay, makes sense now. I don't know why in my head I was thinking like, oh, they played it for an evening and the team thought it was fun. It's good. Greenlight it. So many things. There are positions where it's for real to say, oh.
Orkamus says there are positions where it's for real just designing mechanics.
Wow.
Sometimes that's for larger teams, or a creative director role specifically.
My guess is if you're taking that role, they're gonna probably want other things too. Like, it's like to come along with it. Like, good, like design, like art. Like you can also do art too, not just come up with like the design of the gameplay, but you can like draw, like what's the word I want to use? Like the prototypes and
Orkamus says, but it's a lot of being able to communicate what you want to engineers and artists, and working/iterating with them.
That's so cool. I see. Oh, and you'll be spent lots of doc. Okay.
Orkamus says lots of doc writing.
It doesn't sound too bad, but it also sounds less fun than. It doesn't sound bad, just less fun than the actual like making the thing. But then again, I guess that's what everyone agreed on earlier in the chat when we were all saying like docs and comments are not like the most fun part. But a necessary evil, necessary, very necessary.
Orkamus says, yet it all varies by team, scope, etc.
So interesting. Super cool. And then you have like, there's general, I don't know, commonalities that things will share with each other, but then, of course, to a certain degree, then every team also will be unique because it consists of unique individuals. Every company will be slightly unique. Things will always be different from one thing to the next. It's also interesting. But I do know in like big game dem, I have heard that I asked my friend once who's like a programmer, but not with game dev like most people are. I asked him like, would you ever want to do game dev? And they said, oh hell no, like I would rather do anything in software that's not game dev because.
Orkamus says, yeah, you might get a designer who can script, and they go off and build little prototypes by themselves.
Oh, that's cool. They said I would never want to do game dev because in like the large industries, like game developers are some of the most overworked software developers out there. I was like, oh. Yeah. Okay.
Orkamus says that can be true.
I like your answer.
It doesn't have to be, though.
It doesn't have to be. I really like that. That's how I feel when anything's not good. Just that it doesn't have to be. It might be, but it doesn't have to. Hope.
Orkamus says you can find a good place. You just have to be smart about your limits.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my thing unplugged.
Orkamus says that said, yeah, game devs are comparatively paid less than other software engineers, but it's still good money.
Well, I will say I am not worried about pay. If they make at least minimum wage, I would be happy doing something that I enjoy doing. Even if, I mean, they obviously don't make more than minimum wage, but even if they did, it wouldn't really make me not want to learn about game dev. But I'm sure it would make a lot of people want to leave if they were just paid minimum wage. Yeah. Which is understandable. I couldn't blame someone for that. It's time to add continuous rotation from your collectible script. You'll do this by manipulating the object's transform component, which controls the object's position, rotation, scale, and the scene. Specifically, you'll use the transform.rotate method. So I knew there'd be. Well, there's a method. There's a way to access like all the things in the editor, I guess, the code. Anyway, so.
Orcamus says, I would say how you feel is what employers
they're taking.
can and
Oh,
will
is
take
that
advantage
why?
of.
Because it's like
Hence why
their
they're paid
passion.
less.
That's evil.
Gotta fight for what you're worth.
I see now. Now I know what you mean when you said, be smart about your limits. Don't just let people take it. This is a really good point. Wise words from someone who knows what the industry is actually like for
Orcamus says,
for game developers. And who knows, hearing these words from you, if I ever get where I'm interested in going, hearing those words from you might save me so much pain and despair and heartache in the future, because the words will echo in my head and I might say like, I don't want this job, I'll pass this up or something. That would be cool. Transform the rotate method. Built-in Unity function that makes an object rotate in three-dimensional space. For a simple rotation effect, you'll change the Y value, which makes the object rotate around its vertical axis. When you put this rotation code in the update function, the collectible will rotate a little bit each frame, making it appear to smoothly, continuously rotate. Makes sense.
Orcamus says, I think if you stick to engineering, you'll have to worry very little. It's when you get into some of the non-technical roles where PPL really get shafted.
Non-technical roles. Oh, and you mean like what we were talking about, like game designer, like that type of role. But nobody's immune.
Orcamus says, but I do say that as someone who's been laid off.
She says no one's immune to being laid off, and it can be hard just in tech, within tech in general, because of how it is. Artists, producers, everyone knows. I think everyone who was ever born knows about the whole stereotype of this.
Orcamus says, but you can build or maintain a game without engineers.
Can't. Oh, yeah. So that's why they're always like, you'll have to have them around. At least I see. Oh, you're right. The artists, after they make the art, well, we don't need you anymore. We have your art, and you signed the rights over to us. And with the producers and designers, you already designed the game. We don't need you. And now I'm just thinking about that Toy Story scene. You know?
Says right.
Yeah. You know that scene with Woody in Toy Story where he's like, I don't want to play with you anymore, and it like drops him. It was like a nightmare that he was having. That's probably the nightmare they have when these things happen, or probably everyone would have. Oh, speaking of which, I only thought of that because yeah.
Orcamus says, LOL, pretty much. Honestly, pretty tough situation.
It's true.
Smith says Unity. Go S2S. Smiley face.
Wait, what's S2S? Oh, it's me! Okay. I'm dumb. Sorry, I'm so bad at
Smith says
acronyms.
salttoserenity.
Well, like a day ago, I was calling my IDE an IME because I used to study Japanese, so everything was about your IME. So you could type in, Japanese or whatever language you want to type in. But and then eventually the people were like, "Stop saying it's an IDE. It's an IDE." I was like, oh, yes, that's right. It's an IDE. Yeah. Open the collectible script in the script editor. Put your cursor inside the update method between the sets of curly brackets. Be helpful to add a few new lines using the enter.
Smith says need any help with Unity?
Turn key to.
I only know the very basics.
Thanks for offering. I'm pretty okay right this second, so. But we have some. This stream, I've been really lucky to meet some people who are like pretty damn good with Unity. Cough Ergomis, like, oh, this is crazy. Chat, is Ergomis real? Are you real? Just a little practice, yes.
Orkamas says just a little practice is all.
Oh yeah, the Woody scene thing I was talking about. I saw that. After all that stuff went down like a year ago with Unity, all the Unity
Smith says hi
drama.
at Orkamas.
You remember that the Unity drama that happened a year ago? Well, there was like one meme about people just like giving up Unity and like switching to Godot. And in the
Orkamas
meme they
says
did that.
UAAAA.
Like someone made a clip with the Toy Story where he drops Woody and it's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. But it was actually Unity's logo. But that's what the community's reaction. They're like,
Smith says yes, Unity drama.
beautiful drama. It was very dramatic. There was so much drama. Was it? Oh, I
Smith
can
says
imagine.
Unity is pretty good actually.
Didn't they also like?
I downloaded Unity 6.0.
Didn't they also have to like? They fired their CEO, and he had to take the he took the brute he took it head on, because that's what you do when you're the CEO. Yeah. Oh, who's the old EA head?
Orkamas says yeah, the old EA head.
Oh yeah, that former position as the old EA head probably did not help him at all in this situation. It probably people hate him more because EA and their reputation.
Orkamas says our Slack was roasting him hard.
It's funny because normally having like a position like that would be good on like it would help you out in most cases, like on a resume. But this, just add it. Feel probably to the fire. It made things so much worse for him. Oh my god. Tragic. Kept it real. Oh my god. I bet
Orkamas
they did.
says game devs kept it real, lol.
Imagine like like how I've said like how much like I love meeting people on Twitch and how nice people are, and I'm like, this is wonderful, this is the best. And then like imagine like he at that time he started his Twitch channel and wanted to like meet people, and then it would probably be the exact opposite, like people just coming in to just hate. Like that's what it would look like. Oh my god.
Smith says how old an EA head. I love EA.
Aww.
Smiley face. But I loved EA in the 90s. I old.
I see. say,
Orcamus says
using
LOL
the
EA
enter.
head as in the old EA CEO.
In the enter. You know what? You say old EA, but I bet after that whole Unity thing, after that whole thing, all that drama, he definitely became old. Like,
Smith says okay. I was wondering if he led EA in the 90s.
like he probably doesn't anymore have a single shred of hair that's not gray after all that. Like he was probably aged so much. I can only imagine. That's another reason why I kind of yeah. Another
Smith
reason.
says yeah, Scandal does that.
Well, there were a lot of reasons, but just another one on top that added to like why I kind of stopped doing anything related to Unity or programming. Like there was also that drama and people were not super optimistic about using Unity and learning Unity at that time too. So there's lots of stuff all adding together. And then I had no idea Twitch even existed. Like I didn't even know Twitch was a thing, so there was no, wonderful Twitch to boost me up and make me feel good about the world. Yeah. Enter key. I forgot it's called return on a Mac. To give yourself a bit of space before you add your new code.
Smith says but yeah, I just started learning. How long have you been using Unity, at Orcamus?
They started using Unity in the womb, didn't you, Artemis? They were gonna charge by. Yeah,
Orcamus
yeah, that
says I
made people
remember
really
they said
mad.
something like they were gonna
They
charge
did.
by install, and we were wondering how they would detect that. And their page said something like we will detect them somehow.
Amazing. Uh, do they? It's sometimes I wonder, like when companies like that actually try to pull things off on their on their customers. It's
Orcamus
like,
says I think since like 2017-ish.
do you not have a PR team? Like you have so much money. Do you not have people who make it clear what the public's reaction is going to be? Did you not just ask people? Like just ask them, ask your audience. Maybe try that. Extra space won't change the functionality of the code, but it can make your code easier to read. Write the following lines of code inside the update function between the opening and closing curly brackets. Transform.rotate 010 XYZ, yeah. Important, don't forget to add the semicolon at the end of the line of code. This line instructs Unity to rotate the collectible object 1 degree around the y-axis in each frame, creating a continuous rotation effect. Oh, each one of the numbers was 1 degree. I didn't know that. People were trying to do this. Yeah. Oh no.
Says well, some PPL were speculating they were trying to do this EA type thing where they release some heinous policy, just so people are more okay with a watered down version after they complain.
Oh, it's a strategy. Like make things really bad so that when you make them regularly bad, it doesn't even feel like it is bad. That's dirty. That's real dirty. I will say, within industry, just in general, industries, there are some pretty dirty practices. Like the whole like planned obsolescence, that type of stuff too. That's pretty dirty. No, don't. Okay, I will just. Okay, then. That's
says
fine.
like, hey, I am just, a shoot
no.
you. No, don't. Okay, I will just stab. Okay, then.
Stab. Okay, then. Oh my god. Okay, I will just stab. Wow. Well, I'm super glad the game devs.
Says, and that's what Unity 6 is.
Oh no. Well, I'm just glad that the game devs kept it real. And we're like, we will have none of that nonsense. We already deal with enough nonsense in our industry. We cannot deal with this one
Smith
too.
says I like Unity because it runs on not elite systems. Orkamus says but TBH, the revised scheme is pretty reasonable immo.
I mean, I will say if I hated Unity, I definitely wouldn't be learning this as like my first. I wouldn't pick this as a thing I'm doing right now. So yeah, there will be times you hear me complain. There will be times you hear me, critique things or be very critical. But yeah, it's the actions speak louder than words. Also, I'm always constantly
Smith says
complaining about
Unreal
Python.
requires too many resources to do deving.
Though I heard, well, he hasn't like used Unreal a lot. But I heard from someone who tried Unreal earlier today, like who's like tried getting into it and using it. It's not too bad. Just the editor itself isn't bad. Like it will run.
Smith says I can
It just
run
depends.
Unity
It
on
depends
a
on what you're doing in it
$150
that will make
Chromebook.
it require a lot of resources, supposedly. I mean, Unity's a pretty heavy game engine. Not as crazy as probably like Unreal if you like try to put a lot of stuff in it. But the one that is light is Godot. Unity's not like super light by any means, as far as I'm aware. Because Unity has like a whole, it's like the amount is that's packaged in it. It's quite a lot. Because it's a whole, whole game engine. But apparently Godot is pretty light and actually, like that's one of the reasons people have like moved over to Godot from Unity because of just how light it is. And then you don't have all the like the compilation and the where it like compiles all your scripts every time you want to run it and all that other overhead stuff. And systems that you don't want, like that you're not even interested in using. I hate, yeah, like the waiting to that
Orkamus
really
says that's the part I hate.
That's really annoying to me and boring. But you know what the solution is? I have the solution for your Orkamus. You know what it is? Oh, C++. Oh, it's like even longer than in Unity. You're saying? I didn't. Oh, that's tragic. C++ compilation. Oh, well, there's a solution to all this, to both of these problems for compilation and waiting. And that solution, I'll just tell you what the solution is. That solution is stream on Twitch, because then you won't be bored while you wait. Your Twitch chat will entertain you continuously.
Orkamus says yeah, cause we're compiling the whole engine, whereas C.
Oh, no freaking way. No, you're compiling the whole engine. Every time you hit play, you mean? You're compiling the whole engine? Are you seriously?
Smith says
yes.
we will. And you can play woes, smiley face.
Oh, just change the code. That's horrible. Why? Just why? Just when you change.
Orkamus says there's incremental builds, but there's still bad immo.
Oh my god. It's such a... Oh yeah, you're... Okay. Just wait until you get to meet SPQ. Wait, SPQ is supposedly in the chat, but they have been... Oh, hi Yakamoto. I see you. Hi. How are you? If you're around, hello. Say. Oh, but SPQ anyway. I think they're like AFK or lurking or something. But they're C++ main. Like that's the language they use, and it's funny. They call it the language. So that's why I always tell them, like, I'm gonna eventually learn the
Artemis says I'm
language.
keeping an eye out for carbon to replace C.
Oh my gosh. Okay. No, they love it. It's like that is it's the only language everyone
Artemis
should
says do they
should
complain
learn.
about it at all?
Yes, you are called BCE math and not BCE JavaScript. Mm-hmm. They're one of those.
Artemis
But do
says
you know?
MMMM.
But you already know the people who like use C++ swear by C++. It's like a C++ thing.
Artemis says
Fair
ask them
point.
if it's beginner friendly.
You'll use the transform.rotate method, built-in unit function. Oh yeah, I read that.
Artemis says yeah, it's called Stockholm Syndrome.
It's called, damn, throwing shade. It's funny. I love programming language shade. It's so funny. It's like the funniest stuff ever. Like I remember when
Smith says LOL.
yeah, when Corrupt said when we were like throwing shade at Python, and the best part about like throwing shade at Python is like nobody complains. Like all the Python developers that I've met so far agree with it, and they also throw shade at Python, and I think that's really funny and awesome. So Python's the best language to pick. If you want a Boolean language, just pick Python, and everyone's like happy with it. But yeah, I remember one of the things someone said. They said Python, with its 300,000 layers of abstraction, because they're talking about how slow it is, it was pretty good. Like, I don't need your language, and it's 300,000 layers of abstraction. Oh, that was good. Oh, here's some shade. I remember this one too was really funny. So this was
Smith
someone
says
said,
people throw shade at their field all the
hell
time.
yeah.
Math majors, most STEM majors, doctors, etc.
It was good to say, oh, you're talking about Go. But aren't you? But I like this one. So this is like throwing shade. I think this is something most people can agree on because most of the people I've met so far have been like more back end. So this is completely fine. But one person, they said that like front end developers are like so care so little about optimization and like all their stuff runs so slow. Oh wait, if only that one person, that optimization person was
Artemis
here.
says LMAOO.
Yeah, they would have thought this is funny. But front end developers care so little about optimization that the only time they ever would care about it is if their thing that they wrote runs so slow that it reaches the heat death of the universe. Then they would care, but only after the heat death of the universe occurred. So that's what they said about front end developers, and I thought that was awesome. That's how you make them care about how. See, this is. I'm telling you,
Artemis says
programming shade
agree.
is the best. Yes.
Smith says I resent that. I think like a C coder I just like JS better because everyone has a JS compiler.
Okay, I'm almost done. After I reach the end of this part, I'm gonna.
Artemis says what kind of stuff do you do with JS though?
I'm gonna mess after I reach the end of this section. I'm gonna message a friend and see if they're around because I promised them that I would hang out with them, and then if they don't respond, I'll just like keep streaming because I can until I'm like tired and die, and then if they do respond back, I'll just like go.
Smith says I'm trying to dev a wireframe MMO engine.
What was I? Personally to agree with collectible.
Orkamus says that is firmly out of the realm of front-end, it sounds like.
8 hours? So it did to the stream when it cut out that one time. It really did lose. It lost the stream. Okay, hold on. And that means, oh my god, no one told me when I was reading the Unity Learn stuff. I wasn't actually showing the Unity Learn stuff. I was just reading and showing my editor. That's awkward. I was actually reading through the Unity Learn stuff, but that's okay. Oh, it wasn't really anything interesting. I also watched the videos too. But it's all, basic stuff. A highlight of the stream though was when I was reading about how to copy and paste code.
Smith says true. At Orkamus, but the graphics engine has to be really efficient to run the front end side.
Okay. What am I showing? I just need to. Let me go on Switch really quick. I didn't know it got cut into 2 things. Ah, 7. Okay, it did get cut into 2 streams. Okay. Good to know, good to know. Oh, so that's how long it was down for. Because usually if the stream is down for not too long, it'll like continue it without breaking it into another stream, but I see. Okay, so save the script by pressing Ctrl S, by selecting File, Save. Yep. Back in the Unity editor, enter play mode to see the collectible object rotating continuously. During play mode, you can switch to the Scene View tab, which will allow you to get a close-up view of your collectible as the application is running. Remember to exit play mode when you're done testing. Yes. Very important. Very, very important. Transform. This is a cute first line of code that they have people write. They keep it simple, keep it one line, and then it has like a pretty cool effect. So what a nice like little project that they give people. This is like a very good design choice that they did. To have this be the first thing they have people type. Reduce speed to a decimal float value. You might notice that the collectible rotates really quickly. However, if you try to reduce the value from 1 to 0.5 in your script, you'll get an error in your code, indicated by a red underline. In C# decimal numbers are treated as float values. A float, short for floating point number, is a data type that can handle decimals. Data types in programming specify the type of value, how the computer interprets this value. For instance, integers for whole numbers, floats for decimal numbers, strings for text. When you use a float value in C#, you need to explicitly indicate it's a float by putting an F at the end of the number. Or you open the collectible script in your script editor, modify the rotation line, and update method to transform.rotate 0.5 F0. This change reduces the rotation speed to half a degree per frame. When entering the decimal value 0.5, make sure to add F at the end. Try temporarily removing the F to see the error in your code. Save the script and return to the Unity editor so you're seeing to observe the slow rotation of the collectible. Oh, okay. Declare a new rotation speed variable. In this step, you enhance the flexibility of the rotation behavior by introducing a public variable to your script. Variable in programming is just a named piece of data that can vary. When you declare a public variable for rotation speed, you allow yourself and anyone else who works on this project in Unity to easily adjust the rotation rate directly from the inspector window without the need to modify the script. This practice is an example of efficient game programming Open the collectible script in your script editor. I kind of, I kind of want to say it now. Every time I create a variable, just one variable, I just make like a string, just randomly. I'm just gonna from now on say, this practice is an example of efficient game programming. It's gonna be so annoying. Wouldn't that be so annoying? Say it like I'm the coolest thing ever. I made a variable. About the start method, but after the first opening curly bracket of your script, use the enter macOS return key to add a few empty lines to make some space for yourself to type. Yeah. Pay close attention to the demo video to see where to put this code. Putting it in the wrong section of your script will cause errors. Declare a new public float variable before the start method by adding the line. Public float rotation speed. This creates a public variable named rotation speed of type float. The word public as opposed to private makes this value editable in the inspector window. Using a lowercase letter for the first word, but uppercase letters at the start of all subsequent words, known as camel case. And it's a common practice when naming variables. It's called camel case because it kind of looks like a camel from the side with humps at the center of the word. I guess so. And then, if I remember right, to make a field, private field, show up in the Unity editor, you can use serialized field. And then to make a public variable not visible in the editor, then there's something like hide from editor or something. Hide in editor. Something like that. But maybe they should just use, I feel like they should be consistent with their naming and say like unserialized field will be better. Now replace the hard-coded rotation value in the update method with this new variable you just created. Transform.rotate 0, rotation speed 0. Save the script and switch back to the Unity editor. In the inspector window, you will now see the rotation speed variable in the inspector window when you select the collectible object, which is set to 0 by default. You'll also notice that Unity has taken your camel case rotation speed variable and changed it to rotation speed in the inspector window for improved readability. In the inspector window, set the rotation speed value to a number like 0.5 to control the speed of rotation, and edit the value to the rotation speed you like the best. Now, if you ever want to adjust that value in the future, you don't need to open the script. Make the change right there in the Unity inspector. Remember to save your scene after exiting play mode.
Orkamus says at Smith, what's your engine called?
Review and proceed to next tutorial. Congratulations on writing your first line of code to make the collectible rotate about the y-axis. Here are some of the things you learn along the way. Explain the using statements at the top of the Unity script. Identify a class declaration in the script. Explain the monobehavior class in Unity scripts. Explain the start and update functions in the Unity script. Call the transform function in the update method to transform a game object over time. Apply correct data types in code.
Smith says working title,
Including integers and
Unity,
floats.
a very simple prototype is on itch.io. I just started working on it a few weeks ago, so it's really rough around the
Declare
edges.
new custom variables in a script. Explain how public variables in a script behave in Unity. Describe common naming conventions, including Pascal case and camel case. They actually didn't introduce what Pascal
Orkamus says, haha,
case
that is a great name.
But it's easy to look up, and also it's like written the way it's supposed to be. They never actually mentioned Pascal case. Apply correct naming conventions to variables and methods. They didn't explain this either. They just said, here, we're going to use camel case for the variable, but they didn't really explain. Did they? Oh, actually, they kind of, okay. Common practice when naming variables. Fair enough, fair enough.
Smith says https://np314.itch.io/junity,
Naming
smiley
conventions to
face.
variables and methods. Instructions. Proceed to the next tutorial where you'll finalize the living room functionality. Click the collectible. You'll add more code that will allow the player to pick up the collectible object, and you'll arrange more collectibles throughout the room. Level 1 code comprehension. Interpret basic code in a Unity code base. Application scripting. Control the execution code with common logic structures. At what point did they use common logic structures? They didn't use any ifs or anything. Compose scripts that utilize various APIs. Cultivate a code style that's efficient and easy to read. Game objects. Manage game objects with prefabs. Create a game object component with a script. Work with game object components. It was... That's pretty good. I wrote this one. Okay, let me text my friend and see if they show up.